Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Below Average Bloggers. This is Mike, where you can follow my journey in building niche income websites, blogging for income essentially, and you can learn from the mistakes I make. This is my first time doing it, and hopefully when you do this, or if you're doing it, you can kind of sidestep some of the errors that I do and learn from it, and as a community we can kind of figure this out and hopefully make some money doing it. So first things first, thank you. I got a big outpouring of support from a lot of areas. There's the current YouTube bloggers already, some Reddit peeps. There's just a lot of people in this community that they do a good job of looking out for each other and kind of supporting each other. Here's the deal. If you do this, you know this is a lonely game, right? My family and kids, they are busy in life, and we do what we can as a family. But Dad is psycho right now about building passive income. And so a lot of days, a lot of nights when they're finally racked out for the evening, I'm writing, or I'm doing some freelance work, or you really have to get deep into this and you have to work very hard. It is not an exaggeration to say that every day is over a 12 to 15 hour day. That's a pretty standard day. And it's not like it's hard. I'm motivated to do it. And when you're motivated to do it and when you're excited to do it, it makes it much easier. And so I'm doing it too, and it's been fun to kind of meet other people doing this, talking to them, picking their brains, getting help from them. So the whole thing's been very cool. So thank you to everybody who subscribed. And if you're new here and just checking it out, definitely subscribe, like, comment, tag along, and we'll do it. I know everybody gets tired of being asked to like, subscribe, and comment. However, it does help YouTube's algorithm tell other people that, hey, this guy's doing something that people are enjoying. So if you have the time and you got one more like button in you, definitely throw it my way. I would appreciate it. But that's enough of me talking. Let's get into the weekly update on where the sites are. All right, site number 1 was launched June 14th. It is now 4 months old. And it has 71 articles published, with 5 that are currently being written by content writers right now. Word count on the site is somewhere around 90, 95,000. That's an estimation based on every article being over 1,000 words, under 2,000. Most under 1,500, around there. Traffic and revenue I'll show on the next screens. Site number 2, this is my crap site. And I'm actually considering making it a public case study. I'm not sure on that yet, for a number of reasons. One being, I've just gotten some really good tips about keyword research that I'm utilizing. Big shout out to Ian, one of our subscribers. He and I were talking recently over email and a call we did for a school project he had. And he's a pretty wise SEO, and he gave me some really great tips and walked through some keyword research ideas that I've already done. They've already been impressive results for me, and so I'm using those right now, and I found some very underserved areas in this site number 2 niche. Site number 2 is getting no love from Google Search Console, like 1 or 2 impressions a week, so it's getting nothing, and it's 2 months old, which every other site 1 and 3 have already done way better than that. So site number 2, for some reason, has gone wrong, and so I'm debating on either trying these new keywords research methods I've gotten from Ian and Chris and some other people who've done some good content recently about this, and maybe seeing what happens with it. Because it's so young and I put so little work into it, 5 articles, I'm not really that invested in it, versus site number 1 that, I mean, when you've poured out 70 articles in 4 months, doesn't seem like a lot if you're not doing this, but those who are doing this know it's a lot, especially on top of a job or 2 jobs and a family. You know, excuses, but it's busy, and so you feel invested in it, you feel like you want to care about it. And so I don't want to obviously go public with site number 1. Site number 2, though, I feel like it's just flat on its face. It's crap right now. So I'm debating on making it public or trying these new keyword research tools, seeing what I get from those. And if they kind of help launch me into impression world with Google, then maybe keep it quiet and just see what happens with it and report on its status, or share as a public case study and we can all just mess with it together and see what happens. And maybe one of you can just go in there and scan it and steal it and move on. We'll see what happens. I have no idea. Probably having a final answer on that next week, whether or not I'll go public. All right, site number 3. That one is only 1 month old, created on September 17th. It has 11 articles, somewhere around the 15,000, 17,000 word area. It is already getting 1 to 2 trickle-a-day-ins from Google. It has zero social, zero backlink building, nothing. It's just content and keyword research. And because it's doing better already than my first site as far as impressions go, because I started this site with keyword research versus my first site, I started like a random person just writing what I thought I wanted to talk about in my niche, and that didn't do me much good. I wasted a lot of content. So I'll go into the numbers here in a second, but site number 3 with zero backlinks, zero social signals, nothing. It's just content on a website indexed in Google. It's getting 1 to 2 trickle-ins a day of organic, which is great. I'll take it. I just got some excellent keyword research done over the weekend on it. I was like really deep into keyword research this weekend. I'm sure my family thought I was crazy. But I found some really nice areas that I'm going to write about. And so site number 3, I think, is going to continue to do well, but we'll see. Who knows? Site number 1, real quick, let me just touch on that. It does have backlinks. I did a Haro guest post. I have been backlinked by some other websites. I did a product review for a vendor who backlinked me on their manufacturer website, which had a pretty good domain authority. And so site number 1 is growing, and I'll go into its numbers here right now, and we'll talk about that. All right, so traffic first. Let's look at traffic. This is just for the month of October. So this is October 1 through October 18th. And so we've had 800 sessions, 1,555 page views with roughly 2 pages a session, and a 65% bounce rate. This spike, I touched on it earlier, but essentially a reporter had retweeted one of my articles, and that reporter for Fox Sports had like, I don't know, 20,000 followers. And so I got a nice little spike that day with 160 users. And so that alone was probably a 300 page view day, roughly. And so this is a little inflated because of that. But right now we're sitting at 1,555 page views. If you look at the average daily user, we got 28, or 46, 31, 26, 29, 20, 22, you know, the big spike there, 160, 27, 56, it looks like on Wednesday, 19, 17, 25, and then 34 yesterday, or Sunday yesterday. So I'm averaging roughly 20 to 30 users a day. It's nothing that impressive, but if you look at what is making me a little bit more happy about it, if you look at my Search Console, I have finally gotten some love from Google, and it started around, let's say mid-September. So right around that 3-month mark, Google finally started just randomly showing me a little bit of love here. And if you look, I'm now getting, 68 impressions, 67 impressions, 62 impressions, 79 impressions, 70 impressions, 79 impressions. So I'm now hitting like 70 to 80 impressions a day, which is great. And if you look at that trajectory, it's moving up. And so hopefully I don't piss Google off and screw something up, and I continue to see that growth the way I should. We're just at 4 months, and keyword research is getting better. And so I think we will see this growth, but like you all know, there can be algorithm updates, there can be changes to the way they look at content, and a lot of this could just drop off and disappear, or it could continue to grow. So we'll see what happens. But over the life of the site, starting on indexed in June 17th through today, we have 2,400 impressions. And if I look at what I showed last week, I think when I showed this last week, it was like 1,500 impressions, or it was a lot less. So the impressions have really picked up over the last week, which is great. And so let's look at earnings for this site. And so we are on Ezoic, and EPMV and earnings have been picking up. So I talked about them, I think, last Monday. And at the time, it wasn't that great. I was maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what I was a week ago. But we can go through my history here. And so this graph is, again, just through the month of October through today. So the 1st through the 18th. And my EPMV is at $9.42, which doesn't seem very high, but I'll show you these numbers here in a second. And so for the month right now, halfway through the month, I'm at $7 on Ezoic. And so for 1,500 page views, $7. If I'm on target to hit 3,000 page views, that would put me on target roughly to make $15 in ad revenue, which is, double what I made last month. So as long as we keep that trajectory, we're good. And so if you look, earlier on in the month, when Ezoics first went on my site, look at these EPMVs: $4, $8, $5, $4, one random $13 a day, $5. And so I was getting a little bummed, like, man, I don't see what I hoped for with Ezoic. However, if you look this last week, I mean, it really jumped up. So we got 13, a down day at 7, but 14, 1290, 23, 19, 13. It's really picking up. I don't know if it's going to stay this way, but it's on a trajectory as well to do better. And so I think that $9.42 EPMV, we will be seeing that go up if this over $10, over $15 average continues. That will probably pick up. So that's great. I am using their site speed accelerator. Those of you who have talked to me and know me know that I'm not a web developer. I'm not an SEO. I'm not any of the things you need to be to run a successful website. And so all the headaches I created myself in the beginning trying to mess with site speed and plugins, and I just caused myself a headache. And so I figure for the price I'm going to pay for Site Speed Accelerator, it's literally worth it to me, because I'm clearing like 98, 99 on desktop and like 92, 94 speeds on mobile. And prior to that, I was 50, right? So granted, those were all things I had to fix, and I probably could have fixed with the right knowledge and time and effort, but I've been focused on content. I've been focused on keyword research. And this takes a big headache out of my hands using Site Speed Accelerator, and it's doing a tremendous job. The site is fast, it's loading fast, it's scoring fast. And so I will continue to use it, and I'm going to be, I'm happy with it. So that's that. That's where we're at with the sites. I'll show you the other site real quick. So I'll show you the other two sites, actually. So this is my main site, 4 months old, 2,400 impressions. And so let me go to site number 2, that is 2 months old, and you will see it is a dumpster fire. 250 impressions, and basically all of these came, look at that, 110 impressions when I first launched articles, the first batch. And then Google said, cool, your content sucks and your website sucks. So that's where I've been ever since. This website is DOA, dead on arrival, for those of you who are unsure what that means. So this is why I'm considering making a public case study. Maybe as a community we can kind of bring this back to life, or just watch it continue to be a dumpster fire. I don't know, we'll see. And so this website is 1 month old, and you can see it's doing much, much better. So in 1 month, an average position of 23, a 6% click-through rate, and 98 impressions. Keep in mind, this had, I don't know, 8 articles for the first month, and I just posted 4 or 5 more this weekend in great underserved areas that I'm excited about. And so I expect this to really even do better. And mind you, this is on a WordPress.com hosted site. I know. It's got dates in the permalinks. It has no ads. It's just a purchased domain on a personal plan on WordPress.com. So it's got no plugins, no optimizations. It's using a free WordPress theme, and it's already doing better than any other site I made. I'm gonna, pretty soon here, I'm gonna buy the business plan for it so I can add plugins, and if traffic continues to grow, I'll be looking at putting AdSense on it. Or maybe I'll just wait for Ezoic. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. But nonetheless, as you can see, this trajectory for being a 30-day-old site with 7 or 8 articles on it, it's doing great. For me, doing great compared to my previous results. And so that's the status of all 3 sites. Just want to give my weekly update. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope this was helpful. Again, thank you to everyone who subscribed. It's so helpful and it's motivating, and it just keeps me on target. And I'm going to be doing a video right after this that I'll post on another day. But I'm going to do a video right after this where I discuss how I'm getting content essentially for free. It's not clickbait, it's not spammy, but there's a method I'm using right now that's essentially getting me content that doesn't cost me anything. The spoiler alert, the short answer is I'm doing freelancer work that anyone can do. So if you're looking at a way to get content written for you for free, I'm going to make a video on how I do that, exactly how I do it, and how I'm getting my content, at no cost. And in some cases, you can really flip it for a better deal for yourself. So that video is coming out next. I hope you enjoyed the update. Thank you, everyone. Thank